Hi, Bill Felber with CZAD, and I'm visiting with Juergen Rick, CZAD's director, about an increasing problem in the world, and that is the spread of African swine fever. Dr. Rick, I understand that African swine fever is migrating now and moving more into Europe, and it sounds to me like that's going to present some problems for us going forward. What's the status report right now?
So as many of us know, African swine fever moved into the Transcaucasus and into the former Russian areas in 2007. And since the last 10 years, it has moved via Russia into Eastern Europe, Ukraine, Belarus, then all the Baltic states, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and into some European, now part of the European community, countries like Poland, and just recently in the last 2 weeks into Czech Republic. So African swine fever, a severe disease of domesticated and wild boar in Europe, is knocking on the door of Central Europe.
Now, it is not in the United States, and I presume, however, that the more it spreads, the greater the threat to us. Is that correct? And if so, how serious is it?
You would think so, because we have more trade relationships with European countries than we have right now with Eastern European countries and African countries. So, because African swine fever virus is very resistant to heat, etc., and survives in meat for many weeks, and in frozen meat even for many months, the spread not by live animals but by animal products, and the risk of importing that from a country which is infected with this virus is very high.
What can we in the United States health industry do about this? Can we assist with vaccination or diagnostics, detection? What can we do?
So 2 mitigation strategies, very important ones, 2 tools is diagnostics, number 1, and number 2, vaccines. So with diagnostics, we have very good diagnostics in the United States, and we believe that's done by USDA APHIS. We believe that our diagnostic ways, our diagnostic tools to detect African swine fever virus are really a state of the art. The big issue is if you have this disease, you want to get rid of it, very good, or protect your swine population against it, a vaccine would be good. But we don't have a vaccine.
Can we develop one? Is there a market? It's got to be market-based,
yes.
Right?
So let me finish. So there are 2 issues. Number 1, we don't have a vaccine, and number 2, this virus is not only transmitted by domesticated pigs, but also by wild boar. And that's the big issue we have in Europe right now. So the question about vaccines is, can we develop one? I believe so. Will we have one in the next 2-3 years? I don't believe so. There are people working on vaccinology of African swine fever virus for the past 30-40 years, and have not been, there's no product on the market. There are people, they publish on some kind of vaccines, but these vaccines are not yet able to be used in the field for various reasons. There's most of the vaccines are based on modified live African swine fever viruses, not on subunit vaccines. It's not only on parts of the virus we take out and then use it to vaccinate pigs. They're based on live viruses, and there's a big safety issue with these vaccines.
Yeah, let's talk about that for just a second, the live virus aspect. Why is that more dangerous?
Because there are many modified live vaccines we have used in the past, and they always have a residual virulence. For example, vaccinia virus vaccination in humans, that was the way how we eradicated variola, smallpox virus, from the human population, had a residual virulence, and I believe 1 in a million people came down with encephalitis. So there's always some risk associated with using modified live vaccines. But however, the advantages of having fast immunity, long lasting immunity, and it overcame all this risk. So with African swine fever virus, we don't know yet how to make a very safe vaccine, which will most likely, hopefully, only replicate in the animals you vaccinate with and not spread into the environment, and also not spread into some. African swine fever has another way of transmission, which is via ticks, and hopefully not spread into the tick, and then be transmitted and being in the environment for a long time.
Can you briefly give us an update on what CZAD is doing with respect to African swine fever?
So we work on two things, point-of-care diagnostics, and both ways, serology and molecular biology. So we can do it in the field, because one of the biggest problem for the ecology of this virus are wild-born in Eastern Europe and will be in Central Europe. But if it comes to our country, will be the biggest problem, the wild pig population. So we work on serological and molecular tools to diagnose.
And we have a lot of wild boar in Kansas.
We have it now also in Kansas, yes. And the second thing is vaccinology, and I believe the only way we can make a vaccine will be based on a modified life vaccine in the next couple of years. Maybe in the future we can, if we understand better the correlates of protection, we might move into a subunit approach. And so we work together with the Spanish group of Revilla and from the Spanish counterpart of USDA Madrid on a modified life vaccine based on an attenuated African swine fever virus, which was isolated from pigs many, many years ago in Portugal.
I appreciate your time. This is an important issue for the agricultural industry. For CZAD, I'm Bill Felber. Thank you.